Started? Perfect. So no one heard anything that we said. Excellent. So welcome everybody.
Wait, I didn't. Oh, did that unmute me? Okay.
Welcome everyone. Karen here from Quantum Healing with Tena Karen.
Where's that coming from?
That is coming from the sound. So we'll just take this out because we're getting back thing for now. Where am I?
Where's that coming from? Oh, wait, I know where it's coming from.
Start again.
Somehow that got unmuted.
Oh, okay. Sorry everyone. Reset.
Wait, I think we can put these back in.
We're probably gonna hear it back. Okay, hold on.
No, we shouldn't. It's on mute.
All right. Okay, let's take three. Hello everyone, my name is Karen from Quantum Healing with Tena Karen. I'm here today with my beautiful co-host Tina. So we're just hopping on for a random live just because we had time and we felt like it. What we're going to do today is we're going to review a recent session that we did for remote spirit release for a client who gave us a pretty nice piece of the puzzle of the, the soul entrapment stuff. And so we're going to share that part of the session with you, what we got. I guess while we're listening, we'll probably stop it to talk about certain points. If you'd like to intervene, please feel free to comment in our live chat. While you're here, please like and subscribe. And yeah.
If you guys have questions, write it in all caps so we can see it. And let us know, please, if you can hear us okay, because of our little sound difficulties here. We're set up in a different space. So, yeah, let us know if you can hear us okay.
Well, it should be fine if we heard ourselves talking real loud before. Yeah, okay.
Good. I'm going to just start the chat.
Okay. So yeah, today I was supposed to drive home back to Canada, but change of plan is still here, which is nice. Hanging out in bed and decided to come back home. So it's let us know who's here.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. How are you guys tonight? So our client, Jane, we'll call her Jane. She had a lifetime of issues, like usual targeted person matrix kind of things. So it was a lot of stuff going on with her family, her kids. She would have like really demonic like dreams and interactions with these entities in the astral. It seems like she's is coming out of body a lot and having these kind of face-offs with them, to put it lightly. And so that happened throughout her lifetime. And most recently, she started having physical symptoms. So it seems like it was like ramping up and becoming more physical for her. So she reached out to us for a session. She's in her 50s, retired, and yeah, just wanted to see what would come up. And it seemed like it was really interesting because we never had a session like this before. The way the information came through and what we saw her in this kind of labyrinth type thing. And then it goes into questions about the soul and the spirit, and are they the same thing or are they not? And things like that. So we'll listen to it and we might stop it to just comment or explain further on what we saw and what was happening there. And if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat. So I guess we'll just get started, right?
All right.
Anything else?
Nope. I think that's a good place. Hi, Born and Reborn. Thanks for joining. Always nice to see you.
Yeah. And just to say that this person's life goal is to escape the prison planet, like all of us. Okay. So let me share the screen. And this was a recording that Karen and I did together. So it's just like a picture of my face from Zoom. It's not actual live. We didn't record it live. So it's just to hear the audio. How do I put us in there too?
Like, video panel.
Show video panel. Okay, there we are.
No, it's good.
Okay. So I'm going to start this about, let me see, about there. And this is, we're just going in and looking at her outer etheric field, so the field that surrounds her. And this is where it starts.
A bit like rock, those rock beings with red eyes. There's reptilians, there's other like energies, dark energies that are around. Feels very smoky around the ground. Feels like there's some kind of fire and ash. Can't really see like even like a couple of feet in front of me. But I do see that there are like everywhere I go that there's these types of walls, almost like when I cone out, it feels almost like a labyrinth.
Why are these walls here? Who created this labyrinth?
Feels as though the dark energies have, there's a lot of contracts that have been made in order to keep her in this space, keeping her very limited and unable to be free fully from this. Feels as though even if she were to get out, it would be like it's still part of the labyrinth.
How were these contracts created and why?
The contracts have been made in several forms, just through her dreams, through consciousness, through like her relationships or people. They work through people. They just pretty much in any way that they could get her to consent in some way. Using other people to get permission. Through dreams, through desires, through fantasy, astral realm.
They're also carrying over from past lives as well.
Yes, it feels as though like after she passes away, it goes into a part of the labyrinth that she may feel is like a heaven space, but it's not. It's part, and then comes back in that way.
So when she's leaving the body, she goes into a fake heaven.
Yes.
But it's part of this labyrinth.
Yes.
And so the contracts are created there.
There too. So to further like imprison her or to maintain the labyrinth. So it's like through her different life experiences, it's like the labyrinth extends itself as she's going through it.
So the labyrinth is expanding
Yes.
through each lifetime that she lives.
Yes.
And this is all created by these entities.
Yes.
Anything else that you notice here in the outer etheric?
No, that's pretty much it. So it feels as though we should burn the contracts. I feel called to do that first.
Mm-hmm.
So just burning all the contracts.
How many contracts do you sense?
There's like a lot. Like I'm just seeing like thousands and thousands of papers. So we're just going to gather them all and scorch them all. Cutting all cords that are associated to these contracts. So just torching them all down. And as I torch them down, I do see that there are parts, the walls are starting to fall.
Hmm.
She's not fully grounded, but she's corded in to what feels like this would be interpreted as the underworld.
Hmm. Corded into the underworld.
Yes. So they could.
So then, when she leaves her body during these astral travels, that's where she's going.
Yes.
Hmm. And how does that cord look like?
If you don't know what you're looking for, you can mistake it as a root. The roots under the soles.
So where most people have their roots coming out of their feet, there's a cord going down into the underworld.
Yes. Because I do see like hands and arms that are coming from the ground that are holding on to her ankles and feeding off. It's almost like there's a built-in portal that's in her feet. They're going to really suck the consciousness out to bring it where it needs to go. A lot of her soul parts are also here, stuck in these places. So those contracts are being burned. It's going to take a bit of a process, but we're still going to be working on that.
Well, we'll do what we can today. And then see, we'll just see how it goes. So you said that there are soul parts stuck in these places. How do we go about retrieving them?
After we cut the cords from under her feet, we are solidifying underneath it, and I'm not going to put the roots yet, because I don't feel comfortable doing it here in this space. But yeah, I'm taking like those cords and bringing it to a sanctuary type place so that we can retrieve what belongs to her, the soul parts, and discard the rest. So we are taking her out of here. I do feel that there is a fight being done, saying that she belongs to them. Asking the higher self if we would like to break this contract or this and they are saying yes.
Okay.
So it's really important for her to do affirmations and to take back consent moving forward. So that is really highly recommended in order to break herself away from this space, because I feel as though she doesn't know kind of life outside of this labyrinth. It's almost like Truman Show, if you want to look at it like that.
Mm.
So we are going to take back consent, asking the higher self to really scream it out loud. I'm placing her in a protective bubble so that we can get back the soul parts. So I feel it's important now to go and do the soul retrieval, as well as at least the first half of the soul retrieval, and then check back in at the end to make sure that there's nothing, kind of like clean it out thoroughly. And also checking for the divine spark within her to make sure that it is genuine and that it is hers, so that she can fill her body up with this spark.
So the higher self is agreeing to take back consent and destroy the contracts with these entities.
Yes.
So now that she is no longer consenting to this, these entities have no right to violate her free will. So they have to release her. Correct?
Correct.
But it will take for her also in her physical, conscious, waking life to state out loud on a consistent basis that she does not consent to this.
Yes.
Okay.
So I do see there are multiple overlays on the soul.
Multiple
Overlays, reptilian, demonic, and satanic overlays on the soul, which is what is tarnishing like the quality of the spirit.
Hmm.
So it's easy to have this, like, these types of overlays on the soul, because then it's like kind of conjuring and calling them forward as a resonance, like a vibrational resonance.
So these overlays are vibrating at a certain level of frequency. And then because that's overlaid on her soul, that's calling in more of the same.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a trickery in a sense of, like, having like these coats on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then allowing for that to be like ingrained within, because it's lifetime over lifetime. So it is a very deep ingrained program. I am seeing origin point is.
Pause for a second and ask, what do the overlays on the soul look like to you when they're shown?
It's usually like the body, and then I'll see like a layer on top, and then another layer on top. So I could see, like, how I would see the auric field, I guess almost the same way. But then when I feel into it, it's not a genuine feeling to it.
So you just know, you have a knowing of what it is.
Yeah, I'll do an investigation. And plus there was like several on top, which I don't see ever.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, this session was really different in that there was a lot of things we've never seen before. We've never seen anyone like kind of stuck in this labyrinth of, and like corded into the underworld so much so that their roots weren't even there anymore. Like they're
right. There was no roots under the feet. It was cords. So they had whatever was doing the trickery had really overtaken her etheric body and implanted whatever the hell they wanted and made it look like they were where the roots go. So instead, like, they unplugged her from grounding and then place their cords in so that they could hook her into the underworld.
Right. So that every time she would leave the body, she would get sucked down into the underworld.
Yeah, in the lower astral or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Which is why she was always having these demonic like dreams.
Right.
Because she was getting sucked right down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Really interesting.
Like hybrid, there is half reptilian and half like it feels of the light. I'll call it angelic. Like it does feel like genuine angelic energy. So almost like an angel and demon type hybrid. So this is why there's a fight inside. That I do sense that there is a fight between light and darkness within. And why it was easily overtaken. Going back to that root of this creation, it does feel as though that the dark side had kind of like, use human terms, like kidnapped this creation and had used it to harvest that other half of her, let's say, for its own benefit and Loosh. And so, disguising it and by putting multiple overlays on top to hide the light side.
So when you're saying that origin point is hybrid, what do you mean? What is it that is half reptilian, half angelic?
It feels as though there was some kind of, it felt like a genuine, creation between both. I don't know how to.
Is it the soul or the spirit, or
It's
what are we?
called
The soul.
where there are hybrids. But then stolen. So not to, for them to be able to hold duality inside in a balanced way, but then overtaken by the dark, like really like they were stolen. Because I'm just seeing them like how they're interpreting it to me. It's like these baskets full of like dual energies.
Want to describe what that looked like to you, or what that was like?
The baskets of souls?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just look like golden baskets with like balls in there that were half dark, half light. And that's how I was able to just feel through them again.
So that's how it was showing you that these souls were made as a dual soul, like with half containing half light, half dark.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. The energy of it, like I was trying to feel like what part of the darkness. It did feel very reptilian to me. And also I just wanted to say for the listeners is that like you're gonna see how the investigation is going. So like as we're going, I mean, I just need people to understand how I'm interpreting information as it's coming through. So it's coming to me and it's showing to me. So I'm trying to interpret, but then the more that I open into it, the more I get to see and feel through. So you'll see like how the information is going to unravel.
Right. It's like a progression.
Yeah.
So this half reptilian, half angelic soul, or light and dark. Is this true for all humans or specific to Jane?
I do see the manifestation within Jane itself, but it looks like through evolution and time that, yes, a lot of people hold this, especially if they are true source players, have have this part, this soul, as their, part of their,
makeup.
yes.
Is this true for only human incarnations or other physical lifetimes as well?
That information is not clear to me.
Okay. So then her question is, so that's actually the answer to her question. What type of soul is holding her spirit? Can you visualize the true essence of her spirit without the duality of this soul?
Yes, I do see that it is a very light energy. It feels like a gold, really sparkly type energy. So the essence of it is pure, it's good. It feels as though, like, when I feel into these dual souls, it's like there's a part that we don't know how it's going to come out, just like DNA. If you have like let's say a mixed child, you don't know what will come from one side versus the other. So sometimes it could be, I feel like in this case, what was to come out, or the dominant part of it, was of the angelic side, like the good, like the genuine angelic side, but then was overtaken.
That's really interesting. We've never seen that before. But I imagine this is happening to many humans.
Yes.
How many people would you say have this dual soul?
It feels as though, if not like, I feel like I'm being generous by saying a third of the population.
Would you feel that these are the people that are being heavily targeted?
In part, yes. Especially if the dominant side is of the light. The true light.
And so this is why she's had so many experiences, like with these entities. And
yes, it feels as though like a lot of these types of people are within their own labyrinth. It's hard to be, it's going to take a lot of work for this light part of her to become more of the dominant, like to fight over those programs that are deeply, deeply, deeply ingrained lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. To free herself from that. It is almost like being a slave, being in prison.
so how would you even start to go about that, like freeing herself? And I guess feeding more of the light side now.
Understanding who she is and really taking the step forward and releasing herself, like as if looking at all of this as a cloak that she's wearing in the back, and to just untie it and let it go. To take her steps forward without having to attach to whatever had happened. Not in the sense of like she can use her healing in order to really fully let go, but to untangle herself from the old stories because of this manipulation and what has manifested from these vibrations that were pretty much contracted to her. It's looking at herself literally in a different light. And to start the healing process of the old, and to start anew with a different mindset, taking back consent.
So we have surmised that the soul is what is kind of housing the spirit. Does it, or how does that work?
The way it looks to me, it's like the soul is like a ball, for example, and the spirit is kind of what is what determines I'm just trying to explain or put it into words. Like in this case, because the dominant side of the soul was light, or the more core part of the soul was light. The spirit is in a reflection of that light. So there is parts that I feel like it is like the spirit does hold a little bit of the darkness, but it's not what embodies the spirit. It's not the full spirit. So you can actually heal the spirit. The spirit is pretty much what gives you who you are as a whole.
How does that appear to you? Do you visualize it? Do you see it?
Well, as I described the spirit, what it looked like to me in her case, like the gold and the sparkles and, those kind of things, the shimmer, that is just what it looks like around that. I see the two together, like the soul and the spirit, and then, I could feel through, like, I saw that they're dual, where they came from. I was able to feel through, like, which is the more dominant, and then which coincides with what the spirit looks like.
I mean, you see the soul as this ball. What does the ball look like?
It just looks like it doesn't look like a tennis ball, but it's like a ball. I just see it that way. It's I don't know how accurate that is. Like in my
Right. It's just an interpretation.
Yeah,
Just
but
what
it
it's
just
showing
shows
you.
me that there's two sides to it, but
Okay.
there's a stronger side. The stronger side is the one of the core of this soul.
Okay. And then the spirit you said is around it or next to it or?
It's around it, like kind of like surrounding it.
Okay. So then is the soul like an artificial construct in order to exist within the physical form?
Yes, I do feel that they are created within this space, like in this what looks like this creation here. So beings that are within the multiverse in this space of the matrix do create. In this case, I'm not quite sure, which is not clear to me, why that there was an angelic and a reptile, let's say, that had created this. I'm trying to dig deeper, but it's really hard to see. It's as if like either the light side got tricked, or again, it feels as though whatever beings are here in this matrix of the light side are not also not even aware of the trickery or how this matrix functions or how they can be manipulated.
Okay. So there are creator beings that are creating souls
Yes.
and experimenting with different types of souls to mesh together to see what comes of it.
Yes. In some way, yes, I do see that. I feel that, yes, but I feel there's a partial other thing to it. I don't know.
Well, asking
Clear.
for that to come forward with more clarity so that we can understand.
It just feels that there's an intention here to create balance. I feel that that is what the goal is of the light,
Hmm.
to balance it out. Because the darkness cannot exist without. And it feels as though in the matrix there is like some kind, I don't know if belief system is the right word to say, but cannot exist without the dark either.
Hmm.
Here in this matrix.
Right. So it's a game of duality.
Yes.
And that's why we need these souls.
Yes, to balance or to at least be able, the mastery isn't being able to hold the balance because one does not exist without the other in this space.
So then, would you say that the soul is necessary in order to live this life in physicality within this system?
Yes, you need it, but I feel as though when it comes to self-mastery, when it comes to being able to hold both within, that then your spirit can take the lead.
Ah, that's
So there's an
interesting.
unlocking.
Mm. So the unlocking is the balance.
Yes, maybe this is how you get out.
The key is finding balance.
The key is in finding balance. That way you free your spirit.
Mm.
Oh my God, I got chills. I think this is it.
Wow. So the key to escaping is in finding balance. And that balance is what frees the spirit.
Yes.
And then we embody more of the spirit and less of the duality of the soul.
Right, because there's nothing, it's all in balance. You can hold both, and neither one owns you.
Wow. That's so cool.
Pause.
Okay. So moving to the place where you're, yeah, sorry guys, the audio is a little echoey. It's just, yeah, we got to make do.
Yeah, it's
We
just,
can't fix it.
right. We're really just trying to share the information and not have perfect audio.
Yeah, it's just the way the recording is. I can't fix it. Yeah, so that's that. Sorry.
And even if we
Dusty.
can, we have no time to do that.
Yeah.
We have no time.
So what we saw right there was that the key to exiting here is finding balance and not allowing either the light or the darkness to overtake us, but to really be the observer of all of it and find the self-mastery is in finding balance. And then that is what unlocks the spirit and allows for our exit out of here, right?
Yes.
How did that look to you? How did you see that? Or how did you feel it?
Which part exactly?
That whole part.
Oh, I don't know how to explain it. It was just a feeling that I had. I was looking at the soul ball and the two energies, and then the spirit that was like around it. Now, we've been informed by that in, I guess people who have experienced NDEs say that the spirit is in the soul, or I'm not sure how, but I didn't see it like that. So I'm not saying either one is right or whatever. That's just how it showed to me. So it was just, I feel like it's kind of like in a lock and chain. That's what it felt like. So that when you see the duality or the duality within ourselves, having to function as a human in this matrix, that we have duality, that enable it in order to find, to free the spirit from this lock and chain is to find the balance. Now, it just came to me as information, like a download or something, but it totally felt right because I saw as it was downloading within me that the spirit was able to lift itself out. And then it's like there was no, because I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you could see that there was two parts within this, but it felt like conflicting with each other. But in this case, the black and white felt harmonious, almost like as if you would see like a yin and yang type thing ish. But anyway, I didn't feel, but it just felt like it was balanced, if anything. And it was not one to one side, or, you know, I didn't feel any reptile. I didn't feel no angelic. It just felt balanced, neutralized. And then the spirit lifted. So I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, because if you think about it, that's what all of the, you know, the adepts and the gurus and the masters have always been trying to teach people, really. It's in finding the balance here, you know. And that's also what we've been guiding, what our guidance has always brought through, and what we've been guiding other people. And it's right, it's not being too ungrounded and lofty, you know, and it kind of getting it entangled in those luciferic energies that keep you up and out of your body, when it's not being down in the thick density in the, with those like aromatic like energies that are trying to pull everyone down deeper into materialism. But it's about being in the middle and finding that balance. And again, that's what the Christed energy is to me. It's that balanced energy between our spirit and being human. So yeah, that's really, really interesting. And I just made that connection right now. So cool. Yeah. And I just want to make this disclaimer before we get any further into this video. Understand that information like this is coming through a human filter. Okay, so don't put 100% weight on it. Like with all the information that we share, we never say, you know, this is 100% fact. This is just insights that are coming through Karen, through one of our clients. So there's, you know,
two humans involved.
Two humans involved here. But again, just like when you watch, you know, NDEs or listen to OBEs, it's the same, you know, you don't put like all of your weight into this information. It's just for entertainment purposes only. We'll say that.
Yeah, no medical advice.
Yeah, no medical or like spiritual advice.
Yeah.
Oh, and yes, over the weekend there was some. Today's Monday.
Yeah,
today's Monday. There was some serious fuckery going on over the weekend with the new moon and that eclipse thing that was happening. Like really, really bad attacks. And I don't know if there was some kind of like electronic weaponry, but we'll talk about that later. Just want to finish out this. I think there's another like 15, 20 minutes.
Seeing how these souls are being created, traveling to this space. And tell me what you noticed there. Yeah, it really looks like a space that's like in some corner of the matrix or something like that, but it is hidden. I do feel that there's like some kind of wall. It reminds me actually of the Doctor Strange movie where they put the mirrors up so you can't see in it. Almost like there's a portal or something that you can to go in here. But behind this space, there's like what looks like, from my understanding, it's like, you know, that whole Loosh farm thing. And so it's like the creation of these like souls hold or are created from the Loosh that was collected from the collective, or like from individuals and their own traumas and etc. of being here in this space, in this earth plane, or having this human experience.
Okay. So we know that they're collecting this energy of what we call loosh from positive and negative experiences or emotions. And they collect this energy, and then what happens? What do they do with it?
It feels as though the energies are being recycled or created. This is what is creating on the Loosh farm. It's like they take this creation or this expelling of energy to ingrain it or create the soul itself. So when souls are incarnating, going into a body, yeah, they're holding like some kind of like memory imprints. So it's as if like if we were to do regression or something like that, they may be tapping into maybe not their past life, but the past life of whoever this Loosh came from.
Hmm. Okay, so I thought that was really interesting. So you saw that these beings were using the loosh to actually create more souls.
Right, it's like a farm.
And not only that, but so the loosh that they're using is creating memory imprints for people.
Right.
Like creating memories that might not necessarily be theirs. And we talk about that more. Then the question is, does a soul live more than one lifetime?
It feels as though that depending on your life experience and the level of consciousness, if you have the ability to awaken, to recognize, I guess, observe what is happening to yourself or looking at your world, like it's really the awakening that you're able to detach. It feels as though there's like majority of the people are too attached to their stories, too attached to their lives that are happening here, either getting sucked into the material world and then going on with their life and having their experience. Those that have awakened have the ability to free themselves from that prison, from even taking part into and from that do, you know, further healing and etc. on themselves by being able to find the balance inside. Because there's a lot of unlearning in the deep programming that is coming from, I would say, I would actually call the soul part, like the motherboard
Hmm.
of what holds the information. And so the goal really is to find balance within the duality.
So the soul can live more than one lifetime. Say, we die, leave this physical body, the soul moves on, and then it could be recycled back in and back in and back in until it learns how to balance the duality.
Exactly.
Okay. So then,
However, I do see though that depending on the life path that it's taking, so if it really gets sucked into the side where you're never going to wake up and you suffer so much that the soul becomes degraded, therefore the spirit degrades. So they do work hand in hand. The soul and the spirit do work hand in hand in this case, because the more that your spirit is diminished, the more that the soul overtakes, and then depending on what side is dominant can be the driving force. So if there is a dark driving force after the spirit has degraded, then it actually can degrade, the soul can degrade, and so it can be taken and either thrown in the astral, and create why there's earthbounds that walk the earth. You can be trapped in certain places, so then they'll have to regenerate and make more souls again through that. However, if you have the path of awakening, you have actually more of a chance of being able to do the genuine work where you balance both duality, because they do exist within. And once you're able to master that, the human experience, then it looks as though that the spirit that is embodying, or that comes hand in hand, when the self-mastery is done, then the spirit releases itself. And this is what takes charge.
okay. So I want to come back to that in a second. I just have a quick question. So when Jesus says in the secret gospel of John that it's worse to actually wake up and go back to sleep and not follow through, is this what he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Because then they don't want to have to create more souls, right?
Right, because it's just becoming a recycling system, and yeah,
Okay.
it just gets deeper and deeper.
Okay. Okay, so it seems to me that the more loosh that is created, the more souls that they can create, and then the more loosh they can generate from those souls.
Right.
So it's like this.
A recycling bin of shit.
That's really interesting because it reminds me of the movie we watched last night. So we watched The Eternals, which is a Marvel movie, right?
Yeah.
You guys have to watch that. There's a lot of disclosure in there, insight and intel in that movie. And interesting, when they're talking to the creator being, I forget his name, it begins with an A in that movie. It's this red being. But when they're talking, I don't want to give anything away, but you probably won't remember anyway. But when they find out that they aren't organic creations, that they're pretty much just robots, and that they're on this fake mission, like thinking that they're actually doing something really good and positive when they're not.
Right.
Like, it's just, there's so many parallels. And when they find that out, they show this honeycomb like structure. They don't show anything coming in or out of it. They just show the honeycomb structure. And it reminded me of a scene from one of Michael Newton's cases, where the souls were being birthed out of this honeycomb like structure.
Right.
And it was interesting that they showed that in the movie, almost alluding to it, but not saying it all the way.
Right.
So yeah, there's like a lot of pieces to the puzzle here. Very interesting. Okay, so say in this lifetime, we develop self-mastery and our spirit begins to lead us. We find the balance, and then I want you to view what happens then when that spirit or soul leaves the body and what that looks like. So just moving to that space.
I do see that the soul part, because the spirit is now embodying the vessel,
Mm-hmm.
that the soul, it feels as though it's come into completion. Like there's no, it actually, like as the body dies,
Mm-hmm.
the light goes out. So they can't use this anymore.
Mm. The light of the soul goes out.
Yes, it can't be used anymore.
And then what happens to the consciousness of the person?
It feels as though like, yeah, it exits via soul like this. I mean, not the soul, the spirit of it. As if there's like the merging. It becomes like, what do you call it? Like, it becomes one.
Hmm.
So integrated.
What becomes one? The soul and the spirit?
No, the spirit, like the consciousness, and really gets embodied within the spirit.
Okay. So, and then does that spirit hold all the memories from the lifetimes that soul has lived?
It could, but there's no attachment to it. There's no. I feel like it becomes free from the human existence or the entrapment system. Because there's no more attachments. There's nothing in here that is weakening.
Hmm.
So it feels free to me. It can get out.
Okay.
It's pretty much graduated.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Is there anything else that feels important here that we should know?
No, I feel that is pretty much like I'm sure there are other details, but this is pretty much the big one.
Okay. Now, when this does happen, the self-mastery occurs, the spirit exits the body, integrates and becomes one again with its self, I guess. Is there any infringement or manipulation that would happen there to disallow that spirit from leaving?
No, I don't feel that there is.
Okay.
It feels like a completely free vessel, like a free, I'll call it vessel, but a free spirit. It's pretty much untouchable because it's so bright that you can't. It's not of this space. There's nothing here that is going to allow it to attach itself back here because it had already reached self-mastery.
Hmm. Okay. So then my question would be, what is the purpose of this place and this system? What are the creator beings or the archons getting out of this creation? What is it doing for them?
It's just energy to feed off of. It's pretty much using the human experience as the battery and for why this place has existed for this long.
So it feels to me that their goal is just to create an experiment with this energy, just to see what they can do and what they can create.
Yes, it doesn't feel like any kind of logic. I don't feel, I guess, the human part of it. There's no, I don't feel there's logic to what they're doing, but yes, to see how much more they can generate.
Mm.
It's all about survival for this matrix and how to expand the entire, I'll call it a labyrinth.
So are there souls or spirits from outside of the system that come in here to help us to break free?
It feels as though that there are energies that can freely come into the matrix, but it becomes very dull. Like the energy of it becomes dull. There's something about an entry point where it feels like it absorbs a lot of their power, let's say. So it could be a trap for them.
Mm. So they're taking a risk
They are taking a risk, yes.
that they could become trapped too.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do see that majority of them do, and they've found some kind of, I guess, solace or purpose. Because again, they don't have, it's not a mental, it's not a human thing to think, but that that they're there to assist in the higher heaven dimensions of this matrix.
Mm. So they remain here, but in the higher realms
Yes.
to assist the souls.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where we see like the schools of learning and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like whoever is trapped here can create whatever they want. It is a creator place. Like, I do see that.
Mm.
So yeah, if it is a school, it's a school. If it's not, it's not. If they want to go there to the amusement park and stay there, they do.
Okay.
You know, like it's whatever you create here.
Okay. Thank you for all that information. Moving back here to Jane. Viewing her energy again. How does it look after those negative contracts have been burned?
It feels, I guess I'll call it raw
Mm.
because it's like have removed layers upon layers and cords being removed and pulled out of her. So we have brought her to the healing temple anyway to receive the healing over her energetic and auric field and all of the stuff, like everything that it.
I'm going to stop the session there. The rest of the session, we continued on to finish our clearing. She had really high level entities attached to her, plus all, the things with the negative contracts, the labyrinth, the courting into the underworld, lots of physical symptoms, portals. What? Oh, she had 6 earthbounds in her home. Her chakras were really moved out of alignment, right?
Yeah. There's a lot to clear out. I mean, usually when you see infringements like that, they're
It's like totaled. So you have to
Totaled.
really restart and
Yeah.
just remove everything, kind of pulling the weeds out.
Yeah, that was a really, really big clearing. But I thought it was interesting, like that the information that just kind of started to come through naturally. And, also thinking back to that movie, The Eternals, this being needed more and more people on the earth, humans on the earth, to be able to have the energy that it needed to pretty much destroy the planet and birth itself. So it's like we don't know the ultimate goal for them and why obviously there's more humans than ever on earth right now. Why is that? I think that's our next thing that we need to research and figure out is why.
Right.
Why are there so many humans on earth right now? What is the point of that? Why are they creating all of these souls? And yeah, there must be some reason why they need all this energy on earth,
Yeah.
at this time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what I was telling you on the sidelines was that when I saw, like when you asked the question, like, do we get help?
Mm.
And that when that brightness comes back in, it degrades as after it passes the filter or whatever, the matrix filter. I think that's why when we become so bright and when we come into duality or like balance within duality, that our spirit is able to brighten itself so that it can exit. Because if it's not bright enough, it can't exit.
Oh.
There's a filtering system. So it's probably like when you can get out of here, then you can have real rest and healing. But you have to have the strength to get out of here.
And in order to create that strength, you have to do a shitload of healing here in the physical.
Right.
That's why, a lot of people say, well, it really doesn't matter what we do here in the physical, that once, we leave our bodies, we're whole and complete again and divine and all of those things. But it absolutely does matter. The decisions and choices that we make here in the physical have an effect on our soul aspect, 100%. The belief that it doesn't matter what we do here in the physical, you can, drink and do drugs and take shots and make all these really poor choices. And that's not going to have an effect on you spiritually is just, it's not true. We see that the choices that people make here as humans can and do lead to the soul degrading and being stuck in places like what we saw in the session. They're stuck here as earthbounds because they can't let go. They're stuck in kind of like a purgatory type place in the astral because they don't have the strength to move any higher than being stuck in the lower astral. So yeah, it absolutely does matter. And the more we can strengthen, heal ourselves and find balance in this lifetime, the more likely we are able to set our spirit free and have the strength to get out of here and not be tricked or recycled back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no door. You're the door.
Yeah, you're the door. I think that's truly what it comes down to. I don't think that, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a unique journey after leaving the body. So I can't really say.
No, we can't. But I think I discovered mine.
Yeah.
At least for now, until the next piece.
Yeah. I think it's interesting though, because like how that information came through about self-mastery and finding balance and that kind of thing, because it's kind of always been the path that we're on in this world of duality and this with the extreme polarization. Listen, I think Earth without the inversion that we're experiencing could be a really cool place to come and learn and be in the physical and have the
Right.
experience of duality.
Like, you have to detach yourself from like, okay, we're getting tricked here. This is not a good place. Blah blah blah. There are good things.
Yeah,
It is what you make it.
right.
So I mean, again, if you know that this place is shit and it's, it doesn't matter what you do, that's what you're gonna get in your outcome. So I mean, your outcome as in your quality of life until your physical body is gone.
Yeah.
So you might as well make the best of it while you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people just get so frustrated because of the the amount of targeting, the amount of infringement,
Right.
the amount of, not being able to trust anything in this matrix. And I get it. Because
Right. The suffering can be so immense.
Yeah.
And if you're highly sensitive, totally understood. But it's like, again, trying to take charge of your own life and not, allowing for the pendulum to stay in one place, but trying to make choices for yourself to balance that. So if you're being targeted on the outside of yourself, at least you can control what you can for yourself to bring it back.
I think that's important to talk about too, is to let go of all the things that we can't control and control the one thing that we can, which is ourselves. That's the one thing that we have control over in this world is ourselves and how we respond and react to the things that come across our path. And when we can learn to not react, but respond consciously and with awareness instead of just being triggered and having that, automatic reaction. It really does do a lot to ease your experience here and bring more peace.
Yes.
So that's why our focus has always been on healing. Because we can remove your entities all day long, but they're just going to keep coming back if you don't do the healing work and remove the attachment points, of how they're getting in there, because they know all your vulnerabilities. They know they know you better than you know yourself. They know where you're vulnerable, and they will use that to get in. I mean, just the other night, you want to tell that experience?
What happened again?
About the thoughts coming in the middle of the night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've just been like, yeah, especially like we've been really tired. Well, Scorchy was saying what happened this past weekend. Scorchy. What happened this past weekend? You were saying that you were mentioning some kind of energy attack.
Oh yeah, so the way I experience it, I experience it as an inorganic energy. So it feels
Non-flowy.
non-flowy is a good word.
Fake.
It feels fake. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not organic. It feels like an inorganic energy. And when I experience those energies, it's almost like a slight heaviness on my chest and irritability and uneasiness. I get pain in my body, weird sensations and things like that. Yes. So I feel like they were probably firing up some kind of energy weapons or like machines that they use, especially when it's a new moon, because they do a lot of their rituals and occult practices around the new moon. Plus there was, I think, an eclipse too over the weekend.
Oh yeah? Okay.
So you have those two things, and the moon is not a positive energy. It's more of a negative energy and has a really big effect on the way we feel. So when they use those energies to exacerbate them to affect us. People that are really, really sensitive can feel it. You know, you might, I mean, I could see it in everyone around us, you know, the kids, just people in general, us feeling like really extra tired and exhausted, not being able to sleep all
Exhausted.
night, like
Exhausted. I'm so tired right now, but like exhausted. Like she was saying before, like again, my point of vulnerability is like thought forms and things like that. And yeah, I could see that they're trying on me, like implanting thoughts right at, the peak of my fatigue, like during sleep or whatever, wake me up with these intrusive thoughts about things, or like trying to create like a paranoia within myself, within our relationship. So I was just like, okay, like thanks. And I would go back to bed because I was so tired. But by morning, the energy would lift, but really trying to get me like trying to pull me back into an old timeline or an old state of being.
mhm.
But yeah, they try in any way that they can. So that's how they
Right.
tried to get me.
Yeah, and that's a really good example because they will use thought forms. If you haven't sifted through the thoughts that you have, I mean, one of the things really, one of the ways that is easy for them to get to us is through the thought forms. And if you haven't done the work on really changing your mindset and being able to take a negative thought and change it to a positive one, if you haven't done that work yet, they'll always be coming at you.
Yeah, I've reprogrammed myself so that it's like to the point where if a thought comes in, I could pretty much know if it's mine or not. I think it's pretty clear because there's nothing pushing that.
Right.
Yeah.
And knowing that you don't have to believe every thought that you have. Like, I remember when I had that revelation when I first was waking up that I didn't have to believe every thought that I had. Because, you know, when you're stuck in that and you're stuck in your story and thinking and overthinking and thinking that you have to believe everything that your mind is making up, like,
Me.
I think we're all like that to some degree until we understand that we don't have to live like that and that we can reprogram the brain, because the brain is hardwired to hold on to more of the negative thoughts than the positive. So it takes that conscious effort to rewire the brain, to choose our thoughts, to take those negative thoughts and turn them into something positive, or just not give any energy to them. And the more you do that, just observing and paying attention to your thoughts, the more you'll start to see the ones that are yours and the ones that probably aren't.
Yeah, because there's no reason for me to wake up like that in the middle of the night and think that. It's not. Maybe before, when I was like not so secure in myself or not sure about things, yes, I would probably fall for it. But no, it was just there. I think also to just create, to try. It was an attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And I bring it up to her and we just like giggle about it because it's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of really, really intense energy this week. And I do feel like it's a bit better today, but still feeling pretty exhausted from the weekend.
Yeah, there's a recovery period for us.
Do you want to tell us what you experienced, Jess?
Yeah, please do. Sorry if my energy feels really low. It is. I'm so tired. And I have a really massive headache right now. But oh yeah, it's probably too late to mention it because it's like way late in the game. But for those who are still here, who are interested in our remote spirit release sessions, we're actually increasing our prices due to how much energy it's taken. It's taking a lot of our energy and time. So we are respecting
ourselves and the worth of what the work is. But it's on the website. If you go on our website on quantumhealingwithtena.com, you'll see the remote spirit release prices, especially for live sessions, has changed. But for those of you who are here, we are going to keep those old prices for you. So you just have to email us and let us know that you would like to have the old price. So coupon, claim the coupon.
What's the coupon code?
Just write the old price.
222.
Yeah,
That's for live sessions, right?
this is for live sessions. Our live sessions are going up to $299, but our old prices are $222, because they're like becoming a hot, commodity.
Commodity.
Yes.
It is a lot more
it takes
energy
a lot.
to for
I mean,
live session.
Yeah, we need people to understand that. Like, it's not just we're trying to make a buck here. It's not. We're trying to compensate for the amount of work and time that we put into it. Because, even amongst ourselves, when we do pre-recorded sessions, like what you just saw, it still takes up energy to hold a space like that, especially when there are a lot of infringements, for example. And, we are working with someone who's actually in the space live, so that we have to take
Not
that
in that
energy.
one. That one was a pre-recorded
Yeah.
one.
But like for the live sessions I'm talking about, when we invite someone into the space, it takes up more. We have to hold more space and energy to hold that person.
Yeah. Plus, there's all the extra work of scheduling it, creating a time, and then there's a whole pre-part that you don't see, like a guided meditation, protection, grounding, connecting. There's a lot
of stuff that gets put into our sessions. So just saying, people do wonder, like, why are you asking for money? It's a lot of energy. It takes up a lot of energy to go into a space. And especially like in the session that we just listened to, to project yourself into the corner of the matrix, like, and you don't know where the hell you are, it might not sound like a lot because it sounds like I'm talking normally, but it takes up a lot because I'm not in the space of here anymore. Actually, I'm gone. I'm way out there.
right. Yeah.
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 So yeah, claim coupon. Just say claiming the coupon of the RSR Live. We'll understand what you're talking about. You saw it, or you couldn't just say YouTube via YouTube, whatever. Don't worry, make up your own coupon. I'm just saying, like, we'll know what you're talking about. But we are going to offer that to whoever listens to this onward until the 31st of May. Starting June 1st, we are going on with the whatever you see on the website. So if you happen to catch the coupon, saying it again, claim it. Because it's going to change. If you don't see it and you don't claim it, sorry.
Well, we've talked about this in one of our previous videos about our evolution in understanding our worth and charging appropriately, and the whole like spirituality and money thing. So it's always in progress. Our prices are always kind of shifting around.
Yes. And like we had mentioned in our other videos, whether the session was really cheap, like Groupon prices, to now they remain the same. We always give ourselves to the sessions. And if you see what's it called, statistics, if you're a statistic person, if you want to see the statistics of how much we have helped, it's like in the high 9, like, and the reason why it may not have helped, it's because they didn't write us back, or they didn't give us any feedback.
Right.
But we are pretty successful. So this is why we do what we do. It really pushes us forward because of the results that we've seen with our clients and even word of mouth. So I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so tired.
It's
and I just
okay.
have a headache.
Stop talking. Jess said, power went out during a storm. I could feel an intense surge of energy coming out of an outlet by my bed. Thankfully, I had a session of my own the next day. I had been struggling with what could trust with what I could trust in my sessions or not. I needed to trust my inner voice. I wasn't trusting it. I knew after that power outage what that energy was coming through the outlet. Oh, do tell us, Jess. What was that energy?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Do we see any funny energies apart from what you mentioned? Really weird dreams. Oh, yeah, the dream. Let me talk about the dream that I had too. There's a dream that I had where I was visiting Tina. And if you guys don't know our lives now, Tina has no kids, not married. Same here. I'm not married, but I have kids. And in that life, I was single. I was corporate life. I had like a pantsuit on and stuff. Very left-brained it felt. I was able to embody that persona. So I was observing it as that.
The corporate gal.
Corporate gal with a pantsuit. It was gray. I looked like an elephant. Okay. And then Tina was there. She had a husband. She had 2 kids. And I forgot what we were celebrating. I don't remember the detail of that, but I was here visiting, celebrating. She had her own like group of friends that were there that knew me as her friend or whatever. And yeah, they invited like a psychic or something to come to this party. And in the psychic reading, the reader told her something about, I think it was a parallel life, or I know I said past, but it was, I feel it was a parallel life. And she was saying, yeah, you two are together as a couple in that parallel life. She was pointing to me and she was telling me, you're a medium, a psychic. And I was looking at her, I was like, come on, like we all know that's like not true because of how I was in this life, in that life, I mean. And she was saying that we worked together, like she was like a facilitator or something, and I would go into the realm as a psychic and we would do healings and all that stuff, that we were in a relationship. And it was the most absurd thing to observe as I guess the corporate lady in her pantsuit, because I was just like, there's no fucking way, because Tina in that life was married. She had 2 kids, you know, both in our own
It was
different
like
worlds.
total
Yeah,
opposite.
complete opposite of this life where I have the 2 kids and whatever. And then it was switched. But yeah, it was just really interesting to see that, because it was so detailed actually when I woke up to tell her, because I was like, oh my God, I gotta tell you what I saw. But it makes you wonder, like, was I tapping into an actual parallel life, observing as that aspect who was tapping into this physical life that we are in right now?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, because I was not even attaching to it and saying like, yeah, that's true. Not at all. I was actually coming from the observer point of that gal. Corporate Karen.
Corporate Karen. Yeah, that's pretty wild. It's like, yeah, that's really wild.
Yeah, because I did feel though that the relationship between me and her in that parallel life, like we were very connected, so connected, more so like as if she was trying to dig a little deeper, but was not woken up yet. Me neither. I was far from. But there was definitely a connection there that you would perceive, I guess, even as us, that we were just like best friends or something like that. But there was more to it than that. There was definitely something more to it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I had pretty wild dreams too. I just can't remember them to share with you.
Yeah.
Jess said, I definitely need to examine my, oh no, that was paradoxical gypsy. Hold on. Jess said, I felt it was a military type weapon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much I had been going through regarding extraterrestrial military stuff around the area of my house. My session ended up confirming what I thought it was. I live on White Earth Reservation. There's a lot of energy here. Wow. Yeah. I couldn't feel where the energy was coming from, just that it was so overwhelming. But it's interesting that I felt it coming through the outlet. That's really interesting. There are like protection devices, I believe you can buy for outlets. God, one of our clients shared something with me about these like ring devices by Slim Sperling. Is that his name? Slim Sperling.
I'm not good at that.
She used them in hers, like because I have one of those circuit breaker boxes in my room, just right in the closet, and a couple smart meters outside my window, but down a little bit. But I can definitely feel like this inorganic energy at times, especially this past weekend around the new moon. And that's when I think that they power up whatever weapons they're using against us. If you guys haven't heard of Celeste Solemn yet, SOLUM Solemn, check her out. She's a former DARPA employee, and she knows the inside scoop on all of this kind of stuff. She has a presentation that she's done on a few different channels. If you go on Odyssey, I'm pretty sure you can't find it on YouTube, but if you go on Odyssey, you'll find her there, and she has a whole presentation about like all the new weaponry that they're using against us. So that's really interesting. Not to get too far down that rabbit hole, because you can literally end up driving yourself crazy with it, but just to know like that this is actually happening is helpful, so that we can start to learn how to protect ourselves from it, because it's really intense. Like I feel it as pain in my body, and literally haven't slept for the past 3 nights, because I wake up every hour with a hot flash, like drenched in sweat. And it's like this surge of energy comes into my field. I feel it come into my field, and it jolts me awake. So it's like I jolt awake, and then I have the heat that comes over me, and then my body starts to sweat, and then it goes down, and then the freezing cold comes, because your body just let go of all that heat. So now it gets really, really cold, and then the cycle starts all over again. And it's like every hour that happens all night long. And I noticed that if I because in the beginning I would be like, okay, Tina, well, just be present, sit through this hot flash, be present with it, just allow the heat. And I would do that. And I noticed that it actually was better for me if I got up as soon as that happened and started moving around. I don't know if it dissipates the heat faster, or if they can't connect with you. Yeah, that's because you're moving. I don't know why, but if I get up right away and start moving, it dissipates a lot quicker.
Well, I don't move, so they shoot me all night. I don't feel it physically like that, but I do feel, I don't know, the fatigue for me is bad.
Yeah.
And I was getting like flu-like symptoms, which is why I didn't leave today to drive back home to Canada.
Yeah. I've gotten really, really sensitive to energy, and I've gotten like a reemergence of some old symptoms too. I think that though that weaponry is a part of that, and who knows? I mean, I don't know.
More to research and discover.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. That's all it is.
Uh, oh, 3 a.m. That's interesting, Jess. 3 to 3:30. 3 a.m. to 3:30 the next day. Energy I felt coming through that outlet was intense. I was able to finally demand they stop, but I was exhausted. Oh, you felt it through your body too. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel these like weird vibrations in my body, almost like if you were to look at my skin, I feel like you'd be able to see it, almost like a frog jumping under your skin. But I could feel, and it seems to almost target one side of my body at a time, at one time. Like last night, it was my left side. The night before, it was my right side. I can feel the vibrations. They're not organic. Like I know when I'm connecting to the earth and I can feel the vibration of that in my body. It's totally different. It's a different rhythm. It's a different energy altogether. Yeah.
And I just generate a lot of heat. So I'm there's a hot pocket next to her. So I just try to face the wall.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
not to contribute to her heat.
Paradoxical Gypsy says, I definitely need to examine my vulnerabilities. My energy is angry if it's not exhausted, but I'm mostly exhausted. I'm reacting to multiple events and circumstances in a very negative way. Yeah. Yeah, because they will use that. They will use that anger against you.
Yes. They'll use it in multiple ways. Yeah, to use it against you, to use it for their own food, to use it to create, more points of vulnerability within you so that they could latch on. There's so many things.
To create a reaction in someone else to then
so
feed off.
Trigger.
Yeah. To feed off that energy between you.
It's a whole domino effect or ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah, vulnerabilities are, it's really important to keep a tight ship when it comes.
God. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, I only really started this work, like the mental stuff and then the physical stuff in 2016. So, and it's still ongoing. So like, even when they attack me at night like that, where, there's an intrusive thought, yeah, it still creates like an energy within my body or whatever, because it's null resonance. But it's again up to you to tighten it or be like, oh, I must believe that it's true,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make choices and really understand yourself and how they work and function and how they manipulate you in that way.
Yeah. And usually anger is covering up a deeper symptom. Usually there's a deep despair, grief, sadness in there that needs to be looked at. Anger is easier to feel than the sadness. The sadness is harder to feel. We don't like to be in that low, sad energy. So we use the anger to kind of
blast out of that.
Yeah. So come up out of that.
Yeah, because if you think of the sadness, like and how the energy vibrates, at least to me, maybe you can't see it, but it's a slower vibration, whereas anger, it's more of a faster vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's easier for some people to be in the anger than it is to be in the sadness. It's harder to feel. Yeah. It's something that's been coming up a lot, is all the things that we do to really avoid what we're actually feeling, including like the addictions and, whether that's shopping or drugs or alcohol or caffeine or smoking or sugar, whatever it is, we are
attacked. I'm feeling
you. I have my own addictions. We use these things as ways to cope with life, and to
sometimes it goes so far gone, like that the physical gets affected so bad that it's hard to break free.
Yes.
There's a lot. The physical, once it gets enmeshed in the physical, it gets a little tougher.
Mm-hmm. Right, when the body becomes dependent on something, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when
it's a different ball game.
Yeah. Totally. But yeah, it's what is creating those? What's the root cause of that? Like, what are we running from? What are we avoiding? What are we trying not to feel, through these things? And, I think it's amazing that we have any coping mechanisms to use, whatever those things are. Otherwise, I mean, how would anybody survive this world, like without them? What would we do?
Yeah. When I split from my ex-husband, like I separated from him, I started smoking again. And it was just a thing. Like it was just an outlet for me. And even when I went into the dark night of the soul, like when I really started the healing in 2016, my outlet was smoking pot. The pot was helping me to eat, to sleep, to relax. And then when I didn't need it anymore, it just was done. So there are benefits to our coping, but of course, if there's healing involved, it's going to be a lot easier to let go. But I mean, if you get hooked in it like way before, and then it creates a physical dependency, then yeah, it's a bit of a tougher case. But I do feel we can conquer it, like given that we have enough support, and you have to really be ready to face it.
Yeah.
I'm working on a couple of things. Sugar.
Me too.
Sugar is hard. Sugar's delicious though. I was telling her during while we were listening to the session, I'm like, oh, I wish we brought Taffy in the room to eat some candy. If you see in other like lives, I'm usually eating. I think this is the first live I'm not eating. Coping.
So
That's probably why I'm finding myself hot.
here's a good question. Did we answer this yet? What's the difference between soul and spirit?
I think I responded there, but I mean, from my understanding is that the soul is like some kind of construct that we are given in this matrix.
That's the one that births out of the honeycomb
Right.
matrix.
It's a matrix birth. I guess this is what holds the duality. Yeah, the duality within. The spirit itself is an expression of the soul. So if you are playing more for the dark side, your overall spirit's going to be dark. If you have play more for the light side, your overall spirit's going to be lighter. I presume this is in a very simple terms here. Yeah, I think the soul. Yeah, the soul is just the holder of the two energies, and the spirit is the expression of it.
That's really interesting.
And they come locked. Was it?
They're locked together, you said.
Yeah, it feels like they're locked together when they come in. Because it is technically the spirit is what is trapped here. And so in order to free the spirit, it is to find the duality or to find the balance between duality. And then it's like, ta-da! And you fly out. Maybe. So is there anything else?
Makes sense.
Anyone? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I mean, this is what the understanding of it is right now. We haven't really used the word spirit only in the recent times because it does make some kind of sense, like why there's two words. I never ever felt that they were the same.
Yeah.
They don't feel the same energy.
Right.
The soul feels like a ball, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know? Like it feels limited. But my understanding of the soul is that we are trapped, like, or that it's stuck in this vessel that we are trying to heal or find balance in. So that's why the expression of itself. I'm trying to understand too where consciousness is. Consciousness the spirit? Is it something that maybe gets freed also to fly away? I don't know. I don't know yet. We don't know that I don't, at least I don't know. We have to go and do more research on that.
Or maybe the consciousness is the spirit.
Yeah, or it could be, there's different words, because it does feel the same energy. together. Like it's free. It's independent of whatever is holding you here in this limited
Right.
existence.
Well, it would make sense that the soul would have a dual light and dark, right? Because if you think about it, when we leave our bodies here
Mhm.
and move into the afterlife, we don't just automatically become like lose the dark parts of ourselves, you know?
Right.
Like we take our experiences, we take our even sometimes our anger, our hate, our et cetera, whatever that is, you know, those darker things that we feel. We take those sometimes.
Well, it makes me wonder too about like children that that we've seen and how they're born angry, or they're like, is that from entity involvement perhaps? Is it because the soul that was created or put within this body, holding an old memory of from the Loosh that they had picked up on to create that soul? Maybe. There's a lot of factors that could, be the reason for that.
So you were saying that the loosh that is created from the human population is then used to create souls.
My understanding, yes, in a farm. The Loosh farm.
Did you see what that looked? Did you see what that looked like?
No, I didn't see. I saw though the two beings where they had the ball, the soul ball, and it's like they were just kind of like putting their essence in it. And then it was light and dark.
Though they were putting their own essence in it. Oh, did you see what they looked like?
My understanding was that one was just light and one was dark. Maybe they're just creators. Doesn't mean that they're good. I don't know. I'm just saying light. So don't take my like as if it's like a good being. I don't know. It just felt like there's two things. Maybe in the overall, the creators of this matrix may not necessarily be good. It may be like that being in the journals, but they're just making it like that.
I should watch that movie.
Yeah, they just create it that way and
It's
see
interesting.
what happens. Kind of like how
We
saw
Yeah.
how we saw that we don't know how this soul is going to be when it is in the body. What is the more dominant side, if you will. So I don't know. Maybe that's why sometimes you see people that commit crimes and then they come back and their life changes. It's just like maybe the darkness is what was overtaking, but then eventually it flips, like because there's a light side. Like I don't know.
Well, we all have that dark and light side within us, right?
Right.
Right.
I guess if you are born and you are of a true source, and when we say true source, we're saying outside of this matrix, that you have more of a chance to awaken, and you have more of a chance to heal and get the fuck out of here.
What if we were born into
have a
this
soul.
system, like as a soul? We were honeycomb birthed into the matrix, right? I got really depressed when I heard that in Michael Newton's. I forget what case it was. I'll have to go back and find it.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
To think that we were birthed into this matrix and we're actually a part of it
This is the thing.
by the creator
It's
of
very
this system.
Possible that yes, we were birthed into it, but I feel like the spirit has something outside of that. You can't get out here unless you have a spirit, because that's the spirit is technically the one that gets out of here.
Right.
Maybe we did volunteer. This is a hearsay, like this.
The spirit volunteered.
Yes, the spirit volunteered to help or whatever. I don't take Don't
Just
quote
say
me.
it without a disclaimer.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to have to respond or have to like look at these stupid comments. Okay.
Just, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Say what you want to say.
So if they come in and they are to volunteer here to help or whatever the case is, and so they get degraded when they enter the matrix, and then get trapped.
And
Perhaps
recycle.
have that knowledge of like, wait a minute, this is like I can't get out of here. So they have to go through the whole fucking thing again. Go through the human experience in order to get out.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what the Jumanji game is. That you have to have this human experience and get the hell out of here. That's the only way.
Well, then the whole mind wipe thing comes in too, which is also mentioned in Eternals. You guys show us. There's a lot there. I'm gonna go back and watch it again because there's so much there. That's what I feel like really messes us up is the mind wipe. We need to go do some exploring and figure out when that happens.
The mind wipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to dig deeper.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for us or anything you'd like to share before we go?
Well, Scorchy, they have to get our consent in some way or to tell you the truth. It's just that we are programmed to think that to not correlate the truth with what they perceive as fiction when it's all documentaries. Like we're watching like real documentaries.
Yeah.
So yeah, they show you everything. They probably show you how to get out of here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do in some way.
Yeah. That movie is really interesting. The whole where they're like they think they're on this mission thing and doing good, trying to help humanity.
7,000 years. They lived for 7,000 years.
Yeah.
And evolved, like, and just kind of moved and did things.
They moved throughout the civilizations, like on Earth, and helped them a little bit at a time. You know, they were under the law of non-interference, of course, which is a law of the universe, and these ETs are not allowed to interfere.
Well, that's probably why no one's helping us, because they're following a law that's complete bullshit.
Right.
When they can intervene.
Right. Which is
which I feel they do sometimes. They do intervene in their own very subtle ways, but it's like they're trying not to get caught.
Right. And so in this movie, the ETs, the Eternal, started questioning things, you know, the things that they're always told, that, you know, questioning the mission that they're on. You know, is this, you know, God that we answer to, is he malevolent or is he benevolent? You know, like starting to ask those things. And I just thought it was like so fitting for the times that we're in and all the questions that we're asking, you know, like who is this God that we pray to, and what are we really doing here? Are we on a mission? Are we on the mission that we think we're on, or what is really happening here? You know, those really deep questions. And they were experiencing that in relation to Earth. And I do feel like that there have been ETs who have come to Earth to help advance the civilization in the ways that they do. And Dolores writes a lot about that in her books and how they have influenced humanity over the ages. And in that movie, it's kind of like showing little glimpses of that. So yeah, it's really powerful. A lot of themes, and yeah, I just keep seeing like that honeycomb wall.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of the memory, why, like they're saying, like maybe it's like something that happens. I guess it depends when, because some children, yes, do remember things, or because they have less of a filter. It reminds me too of like when we dream and when we wake up, we forget it. Like it seems like that. As time goes on, eventually your dreams they fade. So it could be like that too, in a form of just like, through childhood, like you're not really talking, or or they may take it as your imagination or whatever, when you could be seeing something or knowing something. So I would say maybe it's just like that, a gradual thing. It could be right away, it could be,
Or you could get zapped.
yeah. There's no one, I don't think there's one specific thing. I think it's just depends on your vessel, depends on a lot of
I
factors.
think they talked about that in the movie too. Oh, right, because Athena had something, I forget the actual name of it, but it was a disease that was created by the fracturing of her mind because they live eternally, that they have so many memories that those memories can cause like the fracturing of the mind. And so every so often, with every mission that they go on, the god of their god wipes their memory. And it's actually from what they say, it's like a painful process. What is that?
Just a bunch of spam.
Okay.
My grandchild will be old enough to talk soon. What questions do you suggest I ask? Oh, well, you can always ask, like, do you remember who you were in a past life, or a long time ago, before you came here? You can just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be the best person to go, and explore and ask these questions. And best time, I think, is before, 2 years old, before they really start to lose it. But it really depends. I mean, all children are very different. So I guess the earliest they can talk and they can make sentences, or even just give you it exact enough with their vocabulary. Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah.
Reach for the stars.
Yeah. Or like something like, do you remember where you were before you were in mommy's belly? Or what you look like?
Yeah.
Or things like that.
And just ask questions like that.
Yeah, they're really open. I mean, they don't see, we might think, those questions are crazy, but they're so open to it. They're just like,
Yeah, they don't even hesitate.
They don't hesitate. Yeah. But you have to catch them when, before the conditioning starts, because then they will look at you like you're crazy.
Well, they pretty much bank on people who are asleep to call us crazy because we believe in fiction, when they're the ones who are totally obsessed over these movies. Like, it's fine. I mean, like, we could take it and use it for advantage to understand how everything is, and they can just enjoy the movies.
Yeah, like I stopped watching movies for years because I just thought it was like just nonsense and like a waste of my time. I really enjoy watching movies now because of how much they
show.
Yeah, they disclose in movies, and I like to see what also like they're priming the consciousness for, right? Because we are the creator beings, and the beliefs that they seed into our consciousness is how they get us to create. So whether you want to call it I don't think it's actually a pre-programming as much as it is they're seeding that belief so that we can then create it for them, because they don't have the abilities that we do to create, right? They use us to create what they want. So yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot, especially right now in media and movies that is
Especially Marvel. Watch all Marvel.
mhm.
They give you everything. Our son just told us to watch Doctor Strange too. That
It was really good.
fascinating.
Yeah, that was really, really, really good.
Lots
You
of
guys should watch that
portals.
too.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
Well,
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get going.
yes. If we didn't answer your question, just rewrite it in the comments section and we will respond. We appreciate all you all for coming tonight and for listening to our session and for listening to our little chat after. So again, we hopefully we'll be able to make another video sometime in the near future. But for now, like our schedule is completely like booked for a lot of May, so we're gonna be really busy, and we hope to get some time in for, little catch-up sessions like this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're thinking of like starting a Patreon too to do like Zoom
Some type get together,
Zoom
call
meeting.
Q&As and
Q&A,
all the
yeah,
things.
with you guys. It would be fun to see you guys. What else? I was gonna say something. Oh, Jess. Yes. Yes, try it when your kids are relaxed. That's a really great time around bedtime or like
Oh, yeah.
nap time. Yeah. Yeah, and you could even take them on like little hypnotic journeys, just like
And guided
imagination
meditation.
exercises, just like guiding them to anything. Like you could tell them to, put on a pair of goggles, and those goggles will show them, where they've lived before, or whatever your imagination can make up to guide them. It's really fun to see where they go. That's really fun with kids. Yeah. Alrighty.
All right, I'm going on my magic carpet ride.
Magic.
Now.
Yes. Magic carpet rides are really fun. Kids love that. Definitely. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a really, really good night. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, for listening, for your comments, for your thoughts, for your questions. We appreciate you guys so much. And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys. Take care. Peace.
Please like our video if you didn't like it yet.